Hey guys, it's Nico. And I know some of you are wondering, why is it so important to study exoplanets? Like, what's so special about them? Well, the more we learn about exoplanets, the more we learn about how planets can form and interact with each other, and about how our own solar system fits into the rest of the galaxy and the universe. With about 4,000 planet candidates from the Kepler Space Telescope data to analyze so far, astronomers are busy trying to figure out questions about habitability. Planetary habitability is the measure of a planet's or a natural satellite's potential to have habitable environments hospitable to life. In determining the habitable potential of a body, studies focus on its bulk composition, orbital properties, atmosphere, and potential chemical interactions, as well as its mass and its metallicity. The planet also has to be located in the habitable zone. The habitable zone is a shell-shaped region of space surrounding a star in which a planet can maintain liquid water on its surface. After an energy source, liquid water is considered the most important ingredient for life, considering how integral it is to all life systems on Earth. This may reflect the known dependence of life on water. However, if life is discovered in the absence of water, the definition of a habitable zone may have to be greatly expanded. Properties of exoplanets can be examined through exoplanet catalogs taken from the Kepler spacecraft. Kepler is a space observatory launched by NASA to discover Earth-sized planets orbiting other stars. The spacecraft, named after the Renaissance astronomer Johannes Kepler, was launched on March 7, 2009 into an Earth-trailing heliocentric orbit. Designed to survey a portion of our region of the Milky Way to discover Earth-sized exoplanets in or near habitable zones and estimate how many of the billions of stars in the Milky Way have such planets, Kepler's sole science instrument is a photometer that continually monitors the brightness of over 145,000 main sequence stars in a fixed field of view. This data is transmitted to Earth, then analyzed to detect periodic dimming caused by exoplanets that cross in front of their host star. This study will help answer the question on how big of an effect certain characteristics have on the habitability of exoplanets. The reason this should be studied is because every day more and more exoplanets are being found that could host life, but not much is known on what other variables are causing these exoplanets to be habitable. Scientists are already looking at the orbital properties, mass, and metallicity of exoplanets, but they're not looking at other characteristics of exoplanets that could have an even larger effect on whether that planet is habitable or not. In this article, Dr. Bucave studied the correlation between the radius and metallicity of exoplanets and found no correlation between the two variables. Metallicity has a great effect on the habitability of exoplanets. The higher the metallicity, the more habitable. In this diagram, radius is seen to have no correlation with metallicity, rendering it not useful in determining habitability. In this article, Dr. Seeger studied the correlation between the radius and mass of exoplanets and found a direct correlation between the two variables. Although in the previous article, radius was seen to have no effect on the metallicity of exoplanets, in this article, it is shown that the radius has a great effect on the mass of an exoplanet, which is a very important factor when studying planetary habitability. Lastly, in this article, Dr. Korvalchuk studied the correlation between orbital period and mass of exoplanets and found there to be no correlation between the two variables. So, in this study, the four main exoplanet characteristics that determine habitability are mass, orbital period, orbital eccentricity, and metallicity. And these will not only be compared to one another, but they will be compared to other exoplanet characteristics, such as rotational velocity and radius, to determine how much of an effect they have on one another and the habitability of their exoplanet. The alternate hypothesis of this study states that the radius will have the greatest effect on planetary habitability. The purpose of this study is to not only compare characteristics of exoplanets, but determine which characteristics of exoplanets that are not frequently studied by astronomers might have a great effect on habitability. Lastly, the procedure consists of using and finding valid exoplanets on databases that provide all the characteristics necessary to study the habitability of the planets. Other characteristics of exoplanets will be compared to the four main characteristics, which are orbital period, orbital eccentricity, mass, and metallicity. Websites such as exoplanets.org and exoplanet.eu can be used to research exoplanet characteristics and provide all the information necessary for this study. Which means, yep, you guessed it, this study is absolutely free. You're welcome, guys. Thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.